Let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Angel A. And Angel A writes, "Hey, John and crew. I just saw that Deadline is reporting," of course, this was breaking news during yesterday's show, and we said we would talk about it more in depth today. Deadline is reporting that Paramount is officially in the process of developing a remake of the John Hughes classic Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, with Will Smith and Kevin Hart signed on for the leading roles. What are your thoughts on this? Are you a big fan of the original? Thanks, and keep bringing the mask-wearing filthy. All right, thanks a lot for that, sending that in, man. And yes, as I was mentioning on yesterday's show, just as we were going into the live questions, Rob cut in and mentioned that this was breaking news that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was coming back. And it is indeed going to be starring Will Smith and Kevin Hart. This comes to us from the folks at Variety, who writes, "The remake will be a modern update on the original, with Will Smith and Kevin Hart playing characters who are forced to team up to tackle travel obstacles to get home to their loved ones. Hart's Heartbeat Productions and Will Smith's Westbrook Studios are developing the remake. Aisha Carr from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is set to pen the screenplay, marking her feature writing debut. Hart and Smith will produce." So that comes to us with that, of course, a remake of the classic one starring Steve Martin and the good Canadian kid, John Candy, one of the greatest Canadian kids of all time. I'll tell you what, I like this. And I'll tell you why I like it. There's a couple of reasons. One, Will Smith is just one of the better actors in Hollywood today. Kevin Hart, listen, I keep saying, Rob, at some point, Kevin Hart's shtick is going to get boring to me, but it hasn't yet. I still see Kevin Hart doing his typical Kevin Hart thing, and it still makes me laugh hysterically. I know at some point his shtick is going to wear thin. For me, it hasn't yet. I'm just being honest. Right now, I still see him doing his Kevin Hart thing, and I love it. I still find it very, very entertaining. I would have thought that it would be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart doing this, but you're putting in a world-class actor like a Will Smith into this. I'm fine with that. Also, the notion of remaking this. Rob, this film, the original Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is an old film at this point. It's an old film.
God, that's depressing to think about.
Yeah, it is an older film. And let's be honest, a lot of the modern audience hasn't probably even seen the original. But aside from that, I think this is a great film to try to retackle. I really do. I think, especially in a modern day, because travel today is different, but it also presents different challenges than maybe we would have had 25 years ago. So I think you get two personalities like a Will Smith and a Kevin Hart. I think you bring into a modern context. I think this is a pretty good move. Now, the one thing that makes me a little bit nervous is they don't have a screenplay yet, and they're going to a first-time writer. That's a little concerning, but no major red flag yet. It's just a little bit of a thing. It'll be interesting to see who they get to direct this thing. That'll be key as well. But overall, I kind of like this. I'm quite curious about this to see how it turns out. Rob, you've had about 24 hours to marinate on this. What do you think about Will Smith and Kevin Hart remaking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Well, like you, I'm a huge fan. I like Kevin Hart's shtick, and I like Will Smith a great deal as a performer. I think, he's a terrific actor. I mean, I can't tell you. I love Hitch, the movie Hitch, because of Will Smith. I've watched Hitch like 50 times. But let me ask you this. Who do you think's John Candy? I mean, the obvious answer I would think would be Kevin Hart would be John Candy.
Yeah.
But maybe they will flip it. Maybe one of the reasons that they agreed to do this movie is that Kevin Hart's really the straight man and Will Smith gets to be John Candy. Because I would like to see that.
They sort of tried to do that with Central Intelligence with The Rock and Kevin Hart, right? Like they sort of tried to do that. And while I like Central Intelligence, it didn't really work because Kevin Hart was still Kevin Hart. Even though they tried to make him more the serious one, they kind of also tried to do that with Pineapple Express, where you think James Franco would be the more straight-laced character, Seth Rogen would be the more pot-dealing whatever, but they flipped the script on that, and it worked. It worked. But I kind of think they'll lean into their strengths here. I think you'll see Will Smith as the Steve Martin character and Kevin Hart as the John Candy. But it would be interesting to see if they try to do it the other way around. It would be interesting. Rob, what I often hear from people when you get a remake of even a quasi-beloved property is this notion of it will besmirch or diminish the reputation of the original. I have personally never seen that happen, like not once. I've never seen that happen once. But, you know, do you think there's any danger of that happening here if this particular incarnation doesn't turn out well?
No. Look, as we all know, the original movie will always exist, and the original movie has become a perennial favorite for the holidays. So I don't think that you'll ever you can't do anything to diminish it. I think with these two guys, I honestly think that whatever Will Smith and Kevin Hart do together will be worth watching.
Right.
I do.
I agree. I think it could turn out to be really fun. So the question here for you guys is this. What do you think about the idea of Will Smith and Kevin Hart teaming up to do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? I think it's got some potential to be really fun. It could also be a complete, utter disaster, but I think the potential is there to be quite fun. I'm looking forward to it. What about you guys? Jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.